sheer adventurism is driving me to go deep into the Onyama mines. It is the biggest coal mine in the whole of South. Well, the coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will... Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes. If something differently will be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed. Many people that attend the church here can tell you. Service in Holy Rosa is in the We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Getso. Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside.
Argungu in Kebbi State is a mystery. This is an ancient civilization with rich history in warfare, politics and culture. Yet, despite evolving in the full light of history, as a symbol of a sprawling empire built by Kanta, Argungu is still a mystery. Acknowledged that it is one of few places in Nigeria that have an international identity, Argungu is a destination of the beautiful and highly exciting International Fishing Festival. Yet, put in perspective, Argungu is a treasure chest of historical monuments, deep-rooted human cultures, and a fertile environment that supports lifelong human activities on a large scale, but whose stories are scarcely out to the world. Here lies a significant aspect of its mystery, and the one that will engage us for now. For any visitor to Argungu that has anything to do with human history, culture and tourism, a visit to Kanta Museum must be a top priority. This is an ancient palace that has seen the reign of several emirs of Argungu. In the natural course of history, and at a particular phase of his life, colonial administrators pulled the then emir out and put him in a new one outside of the main city. This one is abandoned.
You know, when the Europeans come after the European Congress of Northern Nigeria, most of the emirs palaces, if they are small, the colonial authorities change them, build the new palace for them.
The old palace of Argungu is now fittingly a museum and a national heritage site. The beauty of this palace is that it is still in its natural state. Nothing changes. Not even weather and time altered a thing.
If you look at the position of Birnin Kebbi and Sokoto and Argungu at the middle, and during that time, during wartime, the emirs built this place at that time when the war is going on. That is what make it historical.
This old palace is an architectural masterpiece, a symbol of the genius of the builders of past, an expansive palace of beautiful parts, a testimony of the rich building civilization that flourished in the old Kanta kingdom and across all of Hausaland. It is actually not like this old palace is totally abandoned as a palace. The present Emir of Argungu, Samaila Muhammad Mera, makes it a point of duty to hold court here every Friday. He sits in royal splendor and receives his subjects. Here is his room, adorned with rich images that only royalty can boast of. I ran into the emir in the old palace. It wasn't a Friday. He was actually conducting his guest, the emir of Badi in Yobe State, Abubakar Umar Suleiman, round the ancient edifice. In the emir of Argungu's entourage is this rare woman, Sibatu. She is a woman of art.
I come to Argungu, and believe me, I cannot miss Kanta Museum. But do you know who I find there? The chief drama to the second Kabang Argungu, a lady by all means, and with all the trademarks of what it is to be an Argungu person.
Kakana, she am making a second coming, Ubawanga. kakana shi amma kiɗa ne. An tahi wasa cikin ruwa kakana wanda ya aihu ubana shi ka kiɗi. Sai ya buga gangatai sannan masunta su faɗa cikin ruwa.
To ke kuma fa yanzu.
Sannan ni kuma kakana ya faɗi.
The people of Argungu are often identified with their face markings. It makes them unique. The markings differ with the clan and environment. Sibatu's marks are more of the people of the main town, Argungu. Continue themselves as a mausoleum. It is the final resting place of several emirs of Argungu. This helped to keep record of the succession history of the kingdom. It also preserved the efforts of generation of emirs in elevating their people and what they did differently to achieve their success. This serves as a mirror to upcoming generation. Without sounding macabre, the present emir has in fact identified a place here for his final rest, when eventually the call comes. Kente Museum keeps records of what stands Argungu out as a historical and cultural entity. There are images of his famous fishing festival. There are records of his traditional costume show and ancient practices.
One of the culture that I have really grown up to appreciate is the Bori culture. Bori culture in Hausaland has for long been a religious cult. The people who perform Bori as a dance or as a mystic performance believe that they can talk to the spirit you cannot see, and that these spirits can give you intercessory powers, maybe in worldly affairs, in what you are seeking for benefit or other things like that. It has been there for quite a long time. Today, because of the influence of Islamic religion, the Bori cult, or the cult in Bori, is seen now as an entertainment outlet, and certainly not a religious function. So, surprisingly, when I come to Argungu, when I come to Kanta Museum, I find that the Kabawa themselves too, they do have a Bori with the same message and the same significance as the Hausa people do have. And here it is.
Bori is still practiced in northern Nigeria, but not with the spiritualism of the years gone by. In Kente Museum, there are several images of several forms the spirit enters human in Bori cult. Argungu is the clearest representation of what all Kanta Kingdom stood for. When all historical records are marshaled, Kanta Kingdom is simply a warrior state. In fact, in the periods of the wars of years past, Kanta Kingdom wears cloak of invincibility. In Kanta Museum are kept historical artifacts, costumes, weapons, and charms of actual battles of those years. Mercifully, the museum keeps informed guides that are overly evocative. The museum keeps exhibits of drums that were collected from fighting men representing kingdoms at the battlefield. Drums that in real life were taken to the war front, but were lost by warriors.
Each territory has its particular drums, war drums, that are usually taken to the battlefield to ginger the warriors. Therefore, if you capture the drums, it means you have defeated the war.
The museum keeps exhibits of armors, charms, and arms that were really a symbol of Kanta war years. I take special fascination with this phenomenon, though. It is a master class.
Worthy of thing of notice, especially, is this small god you are seeing. This was brought by one Magajin Dankana, who then was not able to fight because of the age, his old age. He could not fight any war, therefore he brought this as his weapon. He told the emir, this is my weapon. So he used to put some medicine in it, recite some incantations, and he will now pour the content in our river. And throughout the period of the war, no enemy will be able to drink water. Water or anything liquid, you cannot take it.
you stab with water.
Well, yes. Not that the water will vanish or it will
There
turn
is water, but it's not for drinking.
There is water, but you cannot take it. The moment it touches your body, it will turn into, we have small bony fish around here we call karaya. It will turn into karaya, and it will hook you. You and your mount, no water. And you know, that itself is a weapon.
And this real thing.
This is the original God. And he has passed the knowledge to present generation.
The museum also keeps a symbol of what is simply a safety catch for people during war. Usually when news of attackers are heard, families lift their children and the elderly to an overhead abode, which is there in every household, while the able-bodied men prepare for a shutdown. But Argungu is not only about the museum or war history. It is also about culture that developed over time and is in the DNA of the people. Humanity live by things that sustain their lives, and they are infinite. Within these systems, cultures develop, stories evolve, classification arises, and we live identified as farmers, hunters, barbers, blacksmiths, or fishermen. It is the story of the world, and it is the story of the life of many a people. In Argungu, this was brought to the fore in one bright night of cultural exhibition. Various trade groups put up a performance of elegance reflective of their callings. It is on the sidelines of the Argungu Fishing Festival, and it happens in the Palace of Kanta. There are some performers too, whose show is out of the complex mix of interactions that developed over time along the extensive stretches of old Kanda Kingdom and its neighbors. The idea of a fishing community presupposes the presence of a rich water source that allows for fishing. Argungu is along a channel of an eternal river that empties at the main channel of River Niger. On account of that, and over time, the people of Argungu Emirate, and in fact neighbors along the river channel, developed cultures that have deep relationship with water. They are fishermen, all year-round crop cultivators, and inland water voyagers. They also live their lives in close contact with the crocodiles and hippos. Here, occupational fishermen are not only making a charming display of their work tools, but also of what it takes to be a companion of a living spring. Boli dance was part of the event of the night. I've already said much about the art of Boli in Hausaland. We can still reinforce the angle too. Boli is an integral part of night entertainment in most parts of Hausaland. It is a mystic endeavor. Although no longer seen as a religious cult, it still has a long history and allegiances. It still has its legends, mystic rituals and practices too. Bori is an energetic endeavor because often its adherents claim being possessed by spirits of the invisible beings who manifest in their body and communicate to the world outside through their medium. But now you can check out these dance steps. Occupationally, blacksmiths in the north can be mystic too. In the society, they are the architects of farm implements, and the north is wholly agricultural. They make tools for hunting too, warfare and household chores. Because their art is hinged on perpetual relationship with fire, somehow they found a way to tame fire and practice their art without harm. This is an exhibition of that art.
wayansu kenan.
Ana sallah shi ba albarka. Allah shi ba albarka.
This art of fair handling by blacksmiths in Argungu recognizes women and children. It is a holistic approach to making their community insulated from the harm of fire.
Wannan yarinyar ba wani fargaba ba wani tsoro. Ta nuna ta gada an haihe ta cikin wannan gida.
There are still entertaining displays by hunter groups and barbers. They all displayed uncanny art of fire handling and iron handling.
Ai hankali don Allah. Don wani bai saba jin wannan ba. Wani bai saba jin wannan ba.
Domin kalan su ɗaya ne in ka lura da maunin su moli ne kai yana fa wasa to ayaba ne yanka
gagadan na yanzu mutanen mu
kaddara musulmi ta gaci.
The night at the palace of Kanta etches in memory. It was such a big tableau of exquisite performances. Their highlight was, however, this performance by Nkama. Nkama in Hausaland are a band of musical entertainers, but unlike many entertainers, they have a doctrine. It is the doctrine of food, good food. They are straight from the Epicurean school. We eat to live, Nkama live to eat. At least that is what they profess in their music. They are a prominent feature in many markets in the rural north. While I was growing up, how much I miss their antics. Well, in this show, their leader wants to be a hero, and like Brutus in Shakespeare, wants to die of his own sword. The idea, however, is, would his love of life allow him to measure up to that classic death? When it comes to Daba, every part of the north has seen that stand them unique. Argungu staged a lavish Daba on the day before the final of our fishing festival, and it was different. I am taken by the build-up in the Daba, the display of costumes and customs. But the execution of the main Daba is a work of art. Various local governments under Argungu came forward with their display. The proud horsemen and the frenetic foot soldiers in a solid fusion of color, class, and cultural awareness. But the train of the Sarkin Kaban Argungu inevitably stole the show, and they are all quash. Personally, I feel the icing of the cake of this Daba is this camel parade. Proximity to desert allows areas around Argungu to have rich camel content for their travels and for their farm works. They are handy too, as tools for exceptional showbiz in a Daba setting. This one look a special breed, well-fed, giants and affable. This is the water that holds the famous fishing festival at Argungu. It is by all means iconic.
In Kebbi State, Argungu has a deep-rooted history of warfare. history of ancient royal house. But then the people of Argungu swear with nothing more than Mala Riba. Mala Riba is the hope of everything Argungu man does. In fact, it is the main river in which Argungu Fishing Festival is held. But then it also defines their livelihood, their fishing activity, their irrigation, their sports when everything is peaceful. Everything about Argungu, Mala River defines it. And it's a tributary of River Niger. You know what? Like the people of Yahudi, when the people of Argungu see Mala River, they get hypnotized, they vibrate. It is life, it is livelihood. It is a beautiful time for them. Welcome to Mala River, and welcome to the people of Argungu when it is a season of Argungu International Fishing Festival.
This river is in everyday use. It is a highway for farmers to their farmlands. It is a constant scene of water travels and sightseeing. On this day, it is to hold several water sports as a prelude to the ultimate sport, the fishing festival proper. There is canoeing for male and females, and swimming competitions too.
In this event, it is not only blind men and seeing, but two-eyed men. In this event, the black-colored piece of cloth is used to close the eyes of the participants and covered at the back of their heads. The cloth is covered in such a way that it does not...
Truly, what is it like to catch a duck on water? Everything but easy, I must say. For the period while the events were going on, ahead of the day of fishing, the attendance was explosive. How much people of the world really miss Argungu Fishing Festival. The day of the festival will always be special. It is a spectacle rare and brilliant. There are images you will come across perhaps once in a lifetime. Nothing happens on the day except the unfolding of the fish festival and things directly associated with it. It is definitely a rare scene that thousands of net and good carrying fishermen will dash into one river in one fell swoop to search for a prize catch. The scenes are cinematic. The determination, the zeal, the conviction of the fishermen is out of this world. In a short while, the river was a mass of floating men searching for fortune. There is Serikilua and his team urging them on with their mouths and their drums. In time, big catches are emerging. One thing is obvious about this festival: there is no loser. No fisherman goes back home empty. The truth is, every fisherman will have a catch. It may not be big enough to attract a prize, but he is enough to trade his big catch and find a way back home. Around the arena, an anthem market unfolds, where fishermen trade what they catch. There are situations too, where a fisherman would have a big catch, but would rather sell them than take it to the scales. But the bigger catches really made it to the scales, and lucky fishermen received a lavish reward. The story of it all is that Argungu Fishing Festival is magnificent, beautiful by all means, but there are sides of the ancient township that is scarcely out to the world, but is magnificent too.